In the latest coming in on the Afghanistan turmoil, an Afghanistan government delegation has held a meeting with Taliban representatives in Tehran this morning. The highly anticipated meeting came as Afghanistan has been facing the domino effect of America's pullout. The Taliban delegation is being headed by Sher Abbas Sanakzai. The Afghan delegation is headed by the country's former Vice President, Yunus Kanuni. The delegation also includes President Ghani's advisor, Salam Rahimi. The focus of these talks remains the worsening security situation in Afghanistan. The talks are being mediated by the Iranian Foreign Ministry. Iran's Foreign Minister Javad Zarif is chairing the first session. Zarif welcomed the U.S. departure from Afghanistan but warned that the people and political leaders of the country must make difficult decisions for the future of the country. Meanwhile, the U.S. forces pullout from Afghanistan is near completion. The U.S. Central Command has announced that the withdrawal is now more than 90% complete. Pentagon spokesperson John Kirby also made it clear that the U.S. will maintain robust over-the-horizon capability for Afghanistan if required. Discussions were on with the State Department regarding the nature of what that capability will be. The U.S. has maintained that there is a carrier strike group in the region that could be useful if required. Kirby added the U.S. and NATO coalition partners will continue to support Afghanistan security forces.
As we've said, Abraham, we are capable of conducting over-the-horizon counterterrorism right now. It's difficult, but it's doable. And we are continuing to explore other options in the region to be able to enhance that capability going forward. We are having active discussions in concert with our State Department colleagues about that very thing. I don't have a breakdown for you right now what that's going to look like. But again, it's important to remember we already have an over-the-horizon counterterrorism capability. We've got a carrier strike group in the region. We've got facilities throughout the Middle East that have and will continue to be of value in this regard, so we have that capability. As for the support for the Afghans, we're still working out what that contract support is going to look like. Once the drawdown is complete, many of those contractors are still there, providing that kind of support to the Afghans and the Afghan Air Forces as you and I speak, and we are actively working ways in which that contract support can be done remotely or virtually or even physically outside the country.
Meanwhile, Afghanistan authorities have vowed to regain control of all the districts that were lost to the Taliban. Hundreds of military personnel have been deployed to counter Taliban terrorists. This comes after more than 1,000 troops were forced to flee to Tajikistan. Security forces have been deployed in the northern provinces of Takhar and Badakhshan. This is where the Taliban have captured large parts of the territory and have been met with little resistance. Afghan forces say they are focusing on securing major cities, roads and border towns. National Security Advisor Hamidullah Mohib has said that more than 1,000 Afghan troops that fled to Tajikistan are returning and will rejoin the security forces.
Those that went to Tajikistan are coming back and are once again going to be in the service of their people in defense of Faizabad. They're being brought back. People are standing. It's war. There is pressure. Sometimes things work in our way and sometimes they don't.
And earlier, we spoke to the country director and researcher of Afghanistan Analysts Network, Ali Yawar Adili. Listen in to the perspectives that he shared.
The situation is not good, and of course it was not unexpected, given the withdrawal of NATO and US forces. And the Taliban have been making onslaughts into the districts and of course capturing district after districts. And they have, of course, these operations by the Taliban started after the 1st May when the US and NATO forces began withdrawing from Afghanistan, and they have captured like more than 100 districts, especially in the north, in the last few weeks. And the government is still struggling to respond to the Taliban's territorial gains and advances. First of all, it has supported the mass mobilization in the north, in Herat, in Arwan, and also in Balkh provinces. And of course, this support was not extended by the government in the past for the people to get mobilized and arm themselves. But now that support is there, and that is part of the response that the government is trying to provide equipment and support for the people who are mobilized and are arming themselves against the Taliban. And the second thing, yes,